All right, Gonky, you ready? Let's light this candle.
Let's do it, man.
Let's stir the pot. You wrote this headline, by the way, not me. So for Elon, just so you know.
I'm just going based off the comments, man.
Well, it's the fat Amy that people are going to be mad about.
You could put
all right. So here is the tweet that started it all. This was yesterday, and it's a video of these drones,
like hundreds of them, thousands, hundreds.
Stuff nightmares are made out of.
Yeah. Where is this?
China.
Wow, dude.
That's because they do their little air show, light show things. So for the podcast people, because I've learned now podcasting is a thing, and the people at home are watching this or listening to this and don't know what we're talking about. We're watching like 10,000 drones ascend into the sky to make this pattern of
information in literally perfect formation. This reminds me, you know that scene in Indiana Jones when the 109's coming down to strafe him and he shoos the birds up and it.
Oh, look there! Now it's a.
What are you watching now?
It's the same
more
video.
Drones.
It's the Elon video.
Yeah, it keeps getting better.
Oh, this is a light color that looks like my CPU cooler.
Is that real?
Yeah. Oh, a dragon. This is a dragon in by drone.
Oh, wow. Wow. Dude, that's pretty amazing.
I mean, there's a heart, normal sinus
heartbeat.
rhythm, a normal sinus rhythm. Can't even get that without a drone. All right. And then, so Elon says, and I quote, meanwhile, some idiots are still building manned fighter jets like the F-35, trash can emoji, melty smiley face emoji. And then he goes on to say, and this is where it becomes controversial because it became trending on X. Elon Musk has publicly criticized the F-35 fighter jet. Why is F-35 fighter jet? Can't we just stop it at fighter? Why do we have to? Anyway, calling it an expensive and complex, quote, jack of all trades, master of none, end quote. Despite his critique, the F-35 remains highly regarded by some as the most advanced fighter jet, with ongoing global demand evidenced by countries like Israel and Romania continuing to purchase the aircraft. The discourse includes debates on the effectiveness of manned jets versus the emerging use of drones in military strategy. This is the summary. And then 9 hours ago, he said the F-35 design was broken at the requirements level because it is required to be too many things to too many people. This made it an expensive and complex jack of all trades, master of none. Success was never in the set of possible outcomes, and manned jets are obsolete in the age of drones. Anyway, we'll just get pilots killed. And they posted a picture of a declassified Pentagon comprehensive test report of Lockheed Martin's F-35. Shows lack of reliability, ready jets marred, years of combat testing. Issues include gun installations, repair times, cybersecurity. And I think that's all he said. Jared Isaacman weighed in and said, I agree with Elon on a lot of his points regarding the F-35 and drones. It does start with the requirements and competition. And that is our discussion now, Gonky. I will allow you. You have the floor.
Well, he's not wrong, like totally wrong. Right. So, I mean, right. We've said it on this show before. The F-35 is, I mean, it's a jobs program, right? So, I mean,
here comes the nuance.
Here comes
here comes the nuance.
Stop using big words with me, man.
All right, Gonky.
You're in here. No, dude, jack of all trades, master of none, right? So I think we talked about it last show, right? In my mind, the Marine version really hosed it. I mean, you got an airplane that is supposed to do everything, but it's not that good at doing anything. That's not true exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Mover, go ahead. You
I'm smiling so people don't think I'm angry.
No, yeah. Dude, the part about not needing pilots anymore, I don't completely agree with that, but I will say almost always, and maybe it's just me, I'm always, at least in my mind, the limiting factor in the jet.
So here's that nuance again, right? And I've learned this through our most recent successes in videos that deal with the Su-57, which we're going to talk about today too. The Chinese jets, whether it's the White Lion or whatever that thing was, and their
Flaming Dragon.
Yeah, the F-35 knockoff. Nuance is tough for people because a lot of people want to live in the binary world where, you know, you either love Elon Musk and everything he says is the truth, or you hate Elon Musk and, you know, he's just a rich dude with, you know, too much time and all this stuff. There's in between. I am with you. I think that he's wrong about drones being the only answer. And
Yep.
there's a couple things, and we've talked about we have talked about this, but I'm gonna beat this dead horse because, you know, we're talking about it right now.
Beat it.
I think there's some morality issues with taking humans out of the loop, which you almost have to do in a contested, denied, degraded environment of drones operating autonomously. So otherwise, right, if the drones are not operating autonomously, they are subject to counter drone warfare that can sever a link, hack a link, you know, all the stuff that we've talked about from other instances. So if your entire fleet is linked, then you have security issues. I'm not saying they're insurmountable security issues, but they are issues. You're also, you know, microwave weapons, all the stuff that we've like, hey guys, you might want to start developing this stuff. That's the first part. If you go autonomous, now you have taken the human out of the loop and said, go do this. Now, it could be argued that a missile is an autonomous drone because, you know, you've taken the human out of the loop and said, go kill this thing. And that's it, right? The jet now hands off the information. The missile does what the missile does. It knows where it is because it knows where it isn't. You know, you can't take that back. Maybe that's the moral argument for the drone. I think AI being in the kill chain is a bad thing. We need to have a human in that loop prior to that, because I've watched all the movies. We know how
it does. Yeah, it doesn't end up very well for us, does it?
But I mean, so that's a moral debate. The second piece to that too is an 8-pound drone or whatever it is not a 30 or 40,000 pound fighter. It doesn't have the bombs. It doesn't have the missiles. It doesn't have the capability. Now, can you make that F-35 a drone? Sure, you could. I mean, you know, we can make anything fly autonomously at this point. That's what they're working on with the F-16, and you've talked about it before. It's kicking ass out there. However, it goes back to, do you have that man or woman? Sorry, I'm using mankind, making decisions in the jet in real time with the weight of the oath that they swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States or whatever country it is against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You have that person with the conscience in that jet doing that, you know, because if you've got the platoon of Marines on the side of that hill that need close air support and they need somebody to think outside the container, you know, do you want Hal going, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't give you, you know, low angle strafe into this mountain? Or do you want the dude that's like, we're going to figure this out? Because how many stories from the people we've interviewed, from people that have been in combat, where they get to war and they're like, none of the stuff we thought was actually how it was. We had to figure something else out. Sometimes I think you need that. Now, back to the air superiority argument, an 8-pound drone is not air. You know, you need to be able to conquer the air and ensure that enemy fighters cannot fly over. And you do that with large fighters. You do that with beyond visual range missiles. You do that with short range missiles, and you do that with the gun. Some might argue less than the gun. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, what do you think? Do you see a world where it's all autonomous and we just send all the drones out?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of reading the comments a little bit, but I think Elon
Are they mad at me yet?
No. No.
How many death threats have I gotten?
That's right.
Through this,
exactly. Check your
through
email.
This spiel, yeah.
like there's no doubt Elon is, I mean, he's a genius. The guy is incredibly smart. He's driven. And I've listened to him talk about AI, just AI, artificial intelligence. And
Mhm.
it, I mean, it's pretty scary when he talks about it, because I you know, at the level that he kind of nerds out on a little bit compared to what, you know, what I would do. And I don't, you know, I just think about things like 200 years ago, you know, if you told people, yeah, you could summon your Tesla and it'll come get you, you know, without crashing into other people or cars, they'd be like, what's a car? What's a Tesla? And what do you mean it doesn't need anybody to, it doesn't need a horse to bring it over? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't dismiss the idea that maybe tomorrow's air war is completely different than what you and I know. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I totally agree with everything you're saying as far as I can't fathom AI being able to adapt instantly and dynamically like you and I have experienced, you know, in real life, and the stories that, you know, we've heard men and women talk about in wartime, because usually the plan goes to crap. And when you're dealing with drones and artificial intelligence, at least my understanding of it is like that stuff's got to be doped out. Autopilot works great if it just follows the line, you know, but
Well, I could see AI, because I think AI will, I mean, they talk about the singularity and all that stuff where, the AI will become smarter than the humans.
right,
It's not, but it's not the intelligence, it's the heart. It's the heart, and it's the intuition, and it's the intangibles that a human brings that I don't see how you replace that. But going to the other point, if I'm in a perfect world, we have both, right? We
right,
have we
right.
have your F-35 sending, the little detonators downrange to soak up all the missiles because they're expendable. Your drones are just advanced missiles that, no can defend. I I I don't like the idea of taking that out. Now, one of the arguments people talk about is, he talked about this, is expense and G limits and stuff like that. Dude, the limits of the aircraft are the aircraft limits most of the time. Like, I've never flown a jet that, I mean, now granted, uh, like, look at the Hornet, right? When you put stores on it, the G limits changed.
Oh yeah.
It's not because the human limit changed. Now, is the basic design, would it be 20 G's and would stores 15 G's? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I don't know why it's limited to 9 G's, other than I know that I could over G a 9G jet, and it was the jet, not me, that was the problem. So a lot of times it's the airplane, but secondary to that, we're talking missiles, which can pull 20 to 30 or 40 G's. It doesn't matter anyway. It's going to, you can pull 9 G's all day long.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I remember like 15 years ago, maybe back when I was actually flying, like, I don't know why I got into this topic, but like if you remove the pilot, I mean, you free up a lot of things, right? You don't need an oxygen system, you don't need an ejection seat, I mean, there's a whole ton of stuff you can just get rid of,
Yeah.
which all can improve the performance of the airplane. And that was one of the arguments. I think that's when drones were just coming online, guys flying. And at the time I was thinking, if you could build an amazing fighter with me virtually in the cockpit, I'll be sitting in a Connex box, back in the States flying it. I mean, that's one way to get performance and the human element, but I mean, then again, you're still relying on technology. But I don't know, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, like Elon's the kind of guy, he's done so many things outside of the box that are pretty amazing. And I like, I just, whatever he says, I'm open to it, even though like you're saying, I don't completely agree with everything he's saying. Some of the stuff I totally agree with. Some of it I'm like, I'm not so sure, but it'll be interesting to see. We're going to find out. Right.
Well, I think the biggest fear I have, because I want to get to the other comment he made about the F-35, but just in general, the biggest problem when we're talking about things I don't agree with, the problem I have with his statement and maybe it's just the shock value because, he's looking for likes and stuff, but he is now a part of the government, right? He is about to be the Department of Government Efficiency. He's going to go in and cut things. What he said to me was from a position of somebody who doesn't know air power in general. And it worries me that you give that power to somebody who may think they know better than guys like you, guys that have done this their whole careers and understand how to, work an air picture.
Right.
The stuff that we've seen, I hope that number one, he gets read in so that he actually understands it. And number two, that he's open to experts who will say, hey, boss, this is actually how a BVR setup works.
Right.
This is how missiles work. This is how it works both in training and how we've built tactics and what we've seen in Ukraine. Because yes, if you go to Ukraine and if you look at Chinese drone shows, drones are a big part. But if you actually look at, real world scenarios beyond that, where it's a peer v peer with, 5th gen versus 5th gen, 4th gen versus 4th gen, it's totally different. And if it doesn't convince you, the drone show that he posted was in China. What is China investing in right now? The J-20, the J-35, they're still building manned fighters just
Carriers.
like we are. There's a reason for that. Like there's a reason that, even though China has all this drone tech, they are still developing manned fighters, and we're still putting humans in the 6th gen fighter.
Well, like you said, man, when he officially takes his position, he's going to get briefed. And it kind of, honestly, man, he has a brilliant engineering mind, right? But you and I both know engineers have fantastic ideas that when you go to practically apply them, it's like, this is not a good idea. So I like to think though that he's a smart enough guy that he understands that limitation in himself. Because he is going to seek, you don't get to be as successful in business as him unless you have wise counsel, a good team of people around you to help guide you and steer you in the right direction. So I think, like you said, once he gets in there, he'll get read into stuff and they'll just show him, hey, this is how the game is played now. What do you think? Because you can't it's like, oh, he's going to go in and cancel the F-35. Well, you can't, love or hate the F-35. You can't leave a hole in the,
well, and so that's the other piece to this. His second piece about the program and jack of all trades, this is where we go back to the nuance, right? The F-35 program has had undeniable issues. In fact, every level of government acquisitions has had undeniable issues. If he can go in and fix that, dude, that's worth a lot right there. I mean, we'll save so much and get back to where we can design, build, test, and implement a fighter in 5 years versus 30.
Yeah. Any platform, man, helicopter, tank,
Bradley.
Yep.
Yeah. Whatever it is, if we can fix that and get back to that level of exceptionalism, 100%. Where I disagree though, is you can't blanket say this is an unsuccessful fighter because it just went to, in the Middle East with Israel. And I mean, dude, look at what it did in Iran. Look at what it's done so far. It has had, combat proven success. And lots of countries want this aircraft because it is an effective fighter, even with its flaws.
What is, the question is, what is his definition of success, right? I mean, has the F-35 been a successful, efficient weapon system? No. But has it been a successful fighter? I mean, through lots of money and hard work. I mean, you just mentioned it. So,
as much as, as ugly as it is, and as much as we give it shit on this show, I have never talked to somebody who's actually flown it that's like, dude, I would not take this jet to combat.
Right. Exactly.
It may suck in BFM because it's, it's a chunky girl. But when it comes to doing all the gee whiz stuff, which I think if he were read in on it, he'd be like, wow, this thing is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think once he speaks from a position of knowledge, first he'll stop speaking because he doesn't want to go to jail. But second, he'll go, oh, this thing, like it's a tech toy. It is not the traditional fighter that, you know, we would prefer, like the F-16, which looks good, performs good, lasts a long time.
Well, the other thing is people get pretty spooled up about like a simple tweet or whatever we're calling it now.
X. It's an X. It's a Z. I don't know.
See, whatever. You know, you post something like that. You know, I like to hear the 2-hour explanation from Elon, which I'm sure once he expands on it, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm following. I see how you're thinking.
He's been consistent. He's been consistent about manned fighters are, you know, the ending. They're coming to an, you know, it's the
yeah,
you know, Maverick, the world, the age of the fighters coming to an end. Maybe so, sir, but not today. It has been his thing, and that is, dude, that is his brand. His brand is to take people out of driving cars and put people in space. But I hope that he listens to the people that are experts at this, just like he's listened to the experts at the other stuff that he's done. Because now he's playing with a lot more than just his company.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what happens, man. I don't think anything too crazy. I think efficiency wise, there's going to be very positive. And dude, that may completely change the F-35 program, right? I mean, if you could streamline things, cut out the fat, make it efficient.
Oh yeah,
that's only going to make the airplane better, the training better, the logistics to keep it flying better, right? I mean,
yeah,
in my mind, that's the secret sauce to him fixing things, making stuff more efficient. Because I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could ball up a multi-billion-dollar program and be like, nope, we're gonna try something else. It's like, okay, what do you got?
Yeah, but you know, and then you look at like the EX, which is a good aircraft, you know, and the F-16, the Block 70, which is a great aircraft. I mean, it's not. I think the issue is that we cannot clean sheet design something quickly and efficiently and do it well. And if he can fix that, or if he can get into some of the, but dude, dangerous game you play when you start going after the defense, the military industrial complex.
Oh yeah, they don't like that.
I
love the military industrial complex.
Yeah,
huge
I,
fan.
for one, love it. Where's my?
That's right.
I mean. Like,
yeah,
now you're playing with fire. Yeah.
Right.